The first result that we got back, as I said, nobody on our side expected that, and it made me very, very interested in this particular test myself, because as I said, we've been trying to find a flaw in our own method for 4 months, and we were not able to find that. So, you know, our results stand as it is. The results are concave, and although it's controversial.
We had a result in Fecore where we were doing the force the level experiment, and the results came back that the Earth had a slight concavity to where we were. You know, so of course, Lord Stephen Christ, oh, he must have been right. No, there was this slight concavity. We thought it was unbelievable that it happened, but it did, and we reported it.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing good today. This video contains copyrighted material being used underneath the Fair Use Act to show you the fuckery. You heard it at the beginning, the opening clip. Fecore has spoken. The Earth is concave. Yes, sir. They surveyed 525 feet in Colorado and have concluded the Earth is concave. As controversial as that may be, if you don't like it too fucking bad, Fecore has spoken. You know what? Flat earthers used to go around and tell ball earthers that surveying equipment doesn't measure the curve of the Earth. But all of a sudden, Fecore was able to take the same surveying equipment and use it to measure the curve of the Earth, or the lack of it. Do you see the hypocrisy there? There's even more hypocrisy, because they say the math. That's right, the math proves the Earth is concave. You see how ridiculous that is? When they go and tell the ball earthers that math doesn't prove nothing. And that's all Fecore has to show you is a cheesy ass fucking chart and some math. And they've concluded the Earth is concave. Oh, Lord Stephen Christ is just praising his servants. You know, the guy who thinks he's Christ himself. But there you have it. You know, Fecore said in their, back 4 months ago that their board meeting they did online, that what they do on their Flat Earth channels is separate from Fecore, because Fecore is not a Flat Earth organization. And we know that to be a flat out lie. And that's where they're committing the fraud. You don't like it, Mike Kavanaugh, I'll say it again. You're committing fraud. Because you admit right here that this is a Flat Earth test. But you twist the words around and use different words to say that. And I'll point it out later on here. But what is force the line? Force the line is like torque the line. It's crap. It's pseudoscience. It will fail. It proves nothing. Because they are just measuring. They just measured 525 feet and concluded the Earth is concave. And this was done in Colorado, the Rocky Mountains. Let's listen to what force the line is. And they're trying to make sure that, you know, they're being open here and discussing this. And they want to make sure this is sound, good science. Now pay attention here when they use the word science, because later on in the video, they try to tell you that this isn't science and it can't be scientifically reviewed. Let's listen.
The idea is that we're going to try and force a level line and test to see whether or not we can test the Earth in which we live upon. Today we're joined by Karen B, we're joined by Chris Van Matre, we're joined by Mike Kavanagh and Sandor, plus a few invitees. And the idea is to engage in conversation with regards to the method that's to be applied to see whether or not that which we're doing is good science or good technique or good practice.
So there you go. To see if this is good science. This ain't even science. This is freaking pseudoscience. You know, it's total hypocrisy that all of a sudden we can use this surveying equipment to measure the shape of the Earth now. Because flat earthers are at the end of this surveying equipment. Do you see the astound hypocrisy in their statements here? All right, let's keep on going. What is force the level line experiment. Let's have a listen to this nonsense.
We need an introductory paragraph to describe what the forced level experiment or the test is. What is it we're trying to achieve? How is it being done?
That's very good. Yeah. Force the level is we designed a method that we think not only detects curve but actually very accurately measures it if it's there. All the other surveying methods that we have seen so far all derive or assume curve based on either an angle change or a change in vertical elevation, vertical drop, so to speak. But none of them actually measure the curve that is supposed to be there. And it is my opinion, and I think most of the panel members on the Fecore side agree with me on that, that assuming curve based on a derivation is fallacious, and we would like to see.
So there you go. You kind of get the idea. What they're doing is they're taking 4 rods, balance rods, and they're putting them at 40 meters apart. 4 times 4 is 160 meters, which is about 525 feet. And then once they get done measuring that 525 feet and the distance between the 4 rods, then they move the whole setup another 500 feet, and they're going to keep doing this until they achieve a 2-mile distance. And somehow this is going to be accurate to prove the fucking shape of the Earth. This is fucking straight up pseudoscience. It ain't even a fucking science experiment. It isn't even an experiment. It's just crap that they're throwing out there at the flat Earth community. I'll say it right here. Fecore is Flat Earth Society 3.0. All right? So let's keep listening here as they talk about this force the line experiment.
We would like to see a method, or we would like to develop a method that actually measures that curve, if it's there, very accurately.
Pay attention here and listen for Anthony Riley. He's over there chewing his nails and he spits the bits out. Pay attention, I shit you not.
With high precision. And for that we developed the force to level method with 4 surveying rods and a digital auto level. The 4 surveying rods are placed 40 meters apart, and readings are taken from...
Did you hear that? Let me back that up again. Listen about...
Rods are placed 40 meters apart, and readings are taken from every rod.
Dude, you're disgusting. This ain't no professional organization. These guys are a bunch of hacksters. Wow. Let's keep going.
Some balanced, some unbalanced. The balanced measurements are used to do the actual measurements, and the unbalanced measurements are used to find additional information or data, use it for data analysis, like comparing it to environmental refractions and why there's actually a difference there between balanced and unbalanced, and see if there's a correlation between atmospherics and that discrepancy.
Did you all get that? Does that make sense to you? Remember, they were going to use, bring this down to earth so we can all understand it. It's all fucking crap. These people ain't scientists and engineers. These are the same people. And Karen B in chat, somebody pointed out the torque the line experiment was crap science that Fecore backed. And Karen says that wasn't an Fecore experiment. I don't give a shit if it was an Fecore experiment or not, Karen B. Because Bob, Iru, and Jaron, all on Globebusters, and they're all Fecore scientists and engineers, fucking said it was a sound experiment. So Fecore did back that experiment. Because Jaron, Bob, and Iru are Fecore scientists and engineers. Self-appointed. And they called me a dumbass for saying this is pseudoscience and that the test would fail. But yet these same people are trying to pass themselves off as smart scientists and engineer for Fecore. You guys have not separated Fecore and your flat earth channels at all. everybody on both sides of this community knows Fecore is a flat earth group. And you're committing fraud by crossing the lines. On your website, you sit there and say the levels or the laser tests you did at Lake Isis and Lake Balaton prove that the earth or the two lakes are flat on our geoidic surface. It's basically saying lakes are flat on our curved earth. That's what Fecore is putting out, people. But yet they tell us it proves the earth is flat. So let's keep on going here. The nonsense just keeps on continuing. Let's listen. Oh, sorry. Let me get that back down. Oops, 9. I can just go back to this one. Here we go.
And we've done a preliminary test with 3 rods, and the results we've published a couple weeks ago on our website. They were considered to be highly controversial because nobody on our side exactly anticipated this result, and that's what made it so so interesting for us to actually proceed with this and improve on it. So we can actually get to an empirical result with regards to if the curvature is there or not.
See, if curvature is there or not.
We've published the PDF, and there are some good questions that have arisen so far, and we would like to address those right now. Does that make it clear for everybody, or?
The idea is to get an agreed methodology.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, that both sides agree on. When I say both sides, I obviously mean the globe skeptics and the globe.
You mean flat earthers and globetards. You see what I mean? Fecore is committing fraud here. In one breath, they're saying they're not a flat earth group, but in this video, they clearly are saying they're trying to prove the earth is flat. See? Just total deception. And I'm going to have more on Fecore and their deception. I can't believe they let Anthony Riley speak for him, the con man himself. Let's keep going.
Believers. And if both parties can agree on a method that will actually detect curve if it's there, then the results will be undeniable for both sides, either way.
What do you think the chances are both sides are going to agree on this fucking pseudoscience, huh? Fecore doesn't have a grip on reality. They're gonna try to do this for 2 miles, and like I said, the 4 rods they extend out to cover 525 feet, so they're gonna have to move it 525 feet and 525 feet until they get 5,000 and whatever 250 feet, whatever it is for a mile, and then they have to do another mile after that. They'll never finish this experiment this year, and then yet they say they're gonna do 7 experiments in a year, including launching a balloon with a rocket on it and everything else. Isn't that kind of funny? Mike's going to do the same thing. Mad Mike Hughes. So let's keep on going here because they actually used the term mathematics prove. Well, they didn't say mathematics prove the Earth's curvature, but they're doing the measurements and computing the math to fit their theory. Let's listen.
Since we did get results back that we could use once we put that back into our calculation sheet and we saw the results. Well, it took us 4 months to actually verify if what we did was actually correct with the mathematics, etc.
4 months to do the fucking math. 4 months to work out the math so they can get the results they want. You know, isn't it funny that math can't be used to prove the ball Earth, but it can use to prove concave or flat Earth? The hypocrisies here. This is a clown show. Like I said, this is Flat Earth Society 3.0.
But once we found out that that at least we could not find any flaws in our method, we decided to publish it anyway. So people with or other eyes could possibly see if there are obvious flaws that we might have missed or errors in our calculation sheet. but so far
Did you use a calculator, Mike? Come on, man.
we've had some arguments raised. There was one error found in our calculation sheet, but that had nothing to do with the measurements themselves. It was related to the expected Earth.
If you had an error in your calculation sheets, then there was an error in the math. This is just total nonsense, man. This is total pseudoscience. These ain't the actions of engineers and scientists. This is fucking laughable. When I watched this show, when I listened to this, I was like, these people are really fucking dumb, or they're trying to gatekeep the flat earth community. And that's exactly what they're doing. All right. Let's have a listen here.
You know, and as soon as we've done this and we've compiled this,
one. Yeah, this one.
the DINI has a built-in Earth curve correction, which can be turned on or off.
See, now surveying equipment does have an Earth curve correction switch. You can turn it on and off. Remember, flat earthers claimed that back, these same flat earthers claimed that surveying equipment doesn't take into account curve.
Was it on or off during your test?
It was on.
Yes, it was on. And we are of the opinion that that is the exact reason why we got this result. Because if you're compensating for curve while you're actually trying to look for it,
then you're going to get convex or concave. So let's release to the flat earth community that Fecore has proved that the earth is concaved. Because they left the switch on that, that takes into account for the curvature of the earth on the surveying equipment. Do you see the nonsense in all this? And these people are trying to pass themselves off as highly intelligent people within the flat earth community. They're making a mockery of this flat earth community.
That's probably not the right method to do it. So on the next test that we're going to do, we're going to shut all those features off. No corrections for refraction, no corrections for curvature. So we actually have a level line which we can compare the geopotential to. Am I saying that right, Chris?
He's asking if he's saying it right because none of these guys are freaking surveyors. None of them have a surveying license or a career in surveying. Mike admits he's never done it. But yet they're trying to pass themselves off as experts in developing a technique how to use surveying equipment to detect curvature or the lack of it. Just total nonsense.
Yes, yeah. It's also possible that is the reason why we got these concave measurements, because this correction in the DINI itself.
Yes, yeah, I'm of the same opinion, but I'm not sure about that. But I think that's
you either are the same opinion or you're not sure. Let's just get it straight here, Mike.
That is the reason why we got curvature back, because we're correcting for something that's.
So you got curvature back or you got convexity back? They can't keep it straight what they got back here. And you know what? They got no video documentation showing they did this in the right way. We're just supposed to take their word for it. They're going to show us a cheesy diagram and give us the math, and that's supposed to be the proof, ladies and gentlemen. Coming from a bunch of liars and people who use deception. Let's keep on going here. The goal is to get once they do all this testing, the goal is to get a licensed surveyor to also do this. Because again, none of these people know what the hell they're doing.
Into another document that we're going to release. We're going to ask for the opinion of licensed surveyors from all around the world. We're going to send our PDF to as many universities and national surveying institutions as we can find, and invite them to a similar platform like this, a webinar. And hopefully we'll get at least 50 people there that know what they're talking about.
Ain't nobody gonna listen to you guys. They're gonna hear it from ball earthers, and they're just gonna see the nonsense in this. You guys are laughable, Mike.
Professor level or at least national surveying institutions representatives, and if they do not see any obvious flaws in our method, then what we're going to do next is try and implement this test or get it done by a licensed and certified geodetic surveyor, and those results will then be in the books, official, and what happens from there is up to the surveying community themselves if they think it's either bogus or something that definitely needs to be looked into. And I think
It's
the
crap.
latter is if you're an intellectually honest person and you see that there is nothing wrong with the method and the results that come back are controversial, that shouldn't matter or shouldn't resist you from trying to establish fact. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to establish fact. We're not.
What a bunch of crap, man. All right, let's keep on going here because the results. Let's listen to the results. You kind of heard the clip in the beginning, so you don't need any lead into this.
The first result that we got back, as I said, nobody on our side expected that, and it made me very, very interested in this particular test myself, because as I said, we've been trying to find a flaw in our own method for 4 months, and we were not able to find that. So, our results stand as it is. The results are concave, and although it's controversial
A little dupe and delight there, Mike.
And unexpected, the result stands as it is, and that's why I want to do more tests to see if the improved method will still render the same result or something totally different.
Fucking
but it is our contention or our opinion that this test that we've developed is the only surveying test out there that will actually physically measure the curvature if it's there.
This is after they told ball earthers you can't use that equipment to measure curve earth. All right, Anthony Riley asks, is if this is going to go up for peer review. And it can't because it's not even science. It's fucking pseudoscience. It's crap. Let's have a listen here. And Anthony Riley, I'm going to have more on him tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to do another Fecore video. You'll see.
Will this be written up and presented as a journal for the purpose of peer review?
That is our intention, but peer review. We're developing a measurement method, and it's not really susceptible for a peer review. Although we are looking for actual peers from universities and national geodetic institutions to actually review what we have presented, but I'm not sure if our results are eligible for peer review in a way that it's not scientific in nature.
You see, they called this science in the beginning, and now they say it's not scientific in nature. So why are we even bothering with this fucking crap? Karen B's trying to say, oh, it's not experiments, it's measurements. It's mathematics. Mathematics prove ball earth too, Karen. Fuck. She's in the chat room. Yeah, I mean, she's a joke. Go find Bigfoot. Karen Bigfoot. I think that's what the B stands for. All right. This whole thing, you're going to get different results based on the ground you're surveying. Some areas are going to give you curved earth, some areas are going to give you flat earth, and some are going to give you concave earth. This is just basic common sense. So that tells you this whole thing is just fucking crap pseudoscience. In fact, somebody mentions that at the end of the fucking video. So let's listen here. A couple more clips here. They're all not surveyors. Listen to this.
Fault in any of this because I do not proclaim to be a surveyor. I'm a mechanical engineer and I have zero.
Show us your degree, Mike Kavanaugh, because right now you're just a liar.
field experience as a surveyor, but I'm not stupid. I know how it works, and I'm a mechanical engineer, and I have zero field experience as a surveyor, but I'm not.
Zero surveying experience, but yet here he is passing this surveying experiment, which he had nothing to do with. But he's trying to pass this off as sound science. If you don't even know what you've never done this, why are you even presenting this? Why isn't Chris Van Metre, who you have on this live stream, doing the talking? Why is it Mike Kavanaugh? When you have zero experience doing this, let's keep going.
Stupid. I know how it works, and I'm unable to understand the methods used.
You're stupid?
And I do. So for that reason, we developed this method, because there's not a method in surveying now, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, that actually physically measures instead of a derivation.
Sorry about that. There you go. Just more nonsense. And then there's a long pause. After the it was in this clip. There was a long pause after they said this isn't science, and there was a long 10-second pause. Nobody said nothing, because they all know this is a bunch of crap, and they probably said, "Oh, Flat Earth Reset's going to get hold of this and do a video on it." I know he is. There's just so much crap in this. So, anyways, there you go. None of these people are surveyors. In fact, once they do their test and get all their calculations done, they got to hand this all over to a licensed surveyor for final review. Just a bunch of crap. All right, last clip here. They admit Sandor Zandusky, or however you say his name, whatever. At the end, he admits here that the results are going to vary based on the different places you measure. And that's just fucking common sense. But evidently, they think if they keep repeating this test over and over, they'll finally get a conclusive result. You see how absurd these people are? Have a listen.
Yes, and I think it's important to point out that we are measuring a certain distance on this plane, so on the field. So that means that result that we get refers to that exact location. It could be concave, it could be convex in different places, and it could be flat overall. So what we need to do is do a lot of experiments that show the tendency, which way it's going, and then we'll reach a certain point where we can definitely say shape these geopotential surfaces.
Yeah, well, we could also do a...
There you go, folks. This is straight up fuckery. I'm sorry about my dog barking over there. He heard the mailman coming. You know, he had to do his thing. But there you go, folks. This is straight up fuckery from so-called scientists and engineers that are no different than the Flat Earth Society. Putting out bullshit. Have a good day.